Hello and welcome back to the channel today. In today's video I thought I would jump into Lightroom and show you how to crop an image and how to use the crop tool within Lightroom. So what I'll do is I'll get everything set up and we'll jump into Lightroom and I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so firstly, I wanted to start by just saying thank you to all the people who have commented on my last few videos where I've been doing these office tutorial type videos. These videos have been really good for me because I've not been able to go out doing any type of photography. Obviously, because of the situation we've got in the UK with the lockdown and not being able to go out and take photographs. So for me, these types of tutorials I think have been good for me to record, and I do intend to keep doing them in the future. But I'm going to basically, once we're allowed back out, I'm going to start doing some more outside type videos outside, and I'm going to intersperse these tutorial type videos in the office with videos outside in the field. So I just want to say thank you for all the people who have liked and commented my videos. They've been really interesting and really fun, and a bit of an experiment for me to change the style of videos that I've been doing. And I just, so thank you for everybody who's made them, took the time to watch those videos. What I'm going to do today is obviously show you how to, it's going to be a basic tutorial on how to crop and how to straighten an image and how to do, use the crop tool within Lightroom. So for this image I've got here, this is an image of Ashness Jetty in the Lake District. For anybody who's a landscape photographer will probably recognise this location, because obviously it's one of the most well-known photographs within the Lake District. But when I visited, it was one of those places that I did really want to visit, because I know it's a honeypot location, but I think it's nice to put your own take on it and, at least say you've been there to take a photograph and experience what that place is. So this image was just taken probably about maybe an hour before sunset, and it was a bit of a grey overcast day. There wasn't much going on in the sky, so it was trying to make an image more interesting with a very dull sky, and I quite enjoyed this. So I think this was actually done, this was actually a 20-second exposure with a 10-stop filter put on, and as you can see, it actually smoothed the water. But what I did was as you can probably see, the horizon's slightly off, because I mustn't have had my tripod level, or the jetty might have not been quite level. But I unfortunately was rushing in between, because it's quite a busy place. This is that you literally have to grab your opportunity to grab your photograph at certain times of day. I can imagine if you rock up just before sunrise that there's probably photographers anywhere, and just after sunset as well. And there was a couple around at the time. There was also a few people jumping and swimming at the time, so I had to catch my opportunity just at the right time in between, obviously people jumping in the water and things like that. So I might have obviously rushed the setup and rushed the composition, so to speak, but we can always correct it. It's one of the great powerful tools with the crop tool, is that you can always correct little bits of where things are not level and are not quite straight. So I'm going to show you that today. As you can see here, obviously the horizon isn't quite straight, so that'll be my first point of call to straighten up, to fix the crop of this image. So as I said in one of a couple of videos where I said about my 5 favourite Lightroom tips, this is one of the most useful tips that I've found out and I've discovered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab I'm going to go over to the crop tool and obviously click highlight the crop tool to bring out the box to manipulate that tool, and on the angle, obviously you can do it manually and adjust it. It's great for just making slight little adjustments, But one of the great things is there's obviously this little ruler tool here. You can click on it and you can draw a line to straighten your horizon. And I think it's one of those tools that until I discovered it, I don't know how I will live without it. It's such a fantastic little tool and a fantastic little tip just to get that horizon straight. So I'm just gonna look at that and I'm just gonna adjust it ever so slightly. Sometimes it just doesn't quite do. This is quite a difficult thing to get straight because you're trying to get the horizon straight and you're also trying to get the post somewhat vertical. But I think it's one of those that you're never ever going to get it perfect. So for me, that's I'm quite happy with that. So as you can see, it's obviously trimmed it in a little bit and you know, cropped it a little bit more. But there's enough room to manipulate this. So that's the straightened. Now, what you can do obviously here is if you go over to this tool here and you can click on this. There's different crops that you can pick. So if you wanted a 1-to-1 crop, you can do that. And I quite like the fact that there's plenty of sky in this, so I'm going to go for maybe a 4x5 and then just drag it in. Now what you can do is if you crop when it opens up the crop and you're getting more of a landscape crop instead of a portrait crop, is if you just literally drag the handle so if you just drag the handle up and then down, it'll crop it. It'll change the crop to what you want it to do. So I'm just gonna extend the sky a little bit more, and with this crop here, I feel as though this front part here really does nothing for the composition for my liking. So I'm just going to pull it in a little bit further, and I'm going to try and get the jetty pretty much aligned straight on both sides. So, because as you can see with this crop here, when I was cropping in camera and I was looking camera, I didn't position the camera quite far enough, so you can see there's more space over this side than there is on this side. So one thing powerful about the crop is you can actually crop it into try to get it a little bit more straight, or try to balance it a little bit more. So for me, that looks quite a good crop to me. I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, and obviously you can see here, it obviously creates a grid so you can put things on the rule of thirds. So for example, if there's a rock here, you can put it on the rule of thirds, and it adds a great composition. So that's basically the crop that I was happy with. Now what you can do is you can also, if you wanted to put a different type of crop, you can also enter a custom crop. So for example, I sometimes do a panoramic image as a 16:7, so I would have had to put that in. So if you click on that and enter, so if you wanted to do a custom ratio and you wanted to do say 6:10, you can click OK, and obviously that gives you a very narrow composition. And obviously that's just an example of using different crops and different compositions depending on whether you wanted to do that. So I'm just going to go back to a 4:5 crop. I'm just going to bring it in. I'm just going to try and get them level within my within the composition, because I feel as though if it was balanced to one side it might not work. I think this composition tends to work better because you've got one central focus point. Whereas if it was say if this jetty was angled at 45 degrees, the crop you would have the jetty at one side and then opposite to the other. So in this case, because there's one central focus, I think it does make a better crop. Having it directly in the middle and as balanced and as straight as possible. Okay, so basically to commit the crop, all you have to do is just double click and it commits it like that. One of the great things about it is if you think, oh well, I like that crop, but I prefer a different crop, you can just click on the tool again and go to a different one. So for example, if I wanted to go back to a 4x3, which is the format of the camera that I use, I could do that, and I can position that. So if I wanted a 4x3, I could do that crop, and then that's a 4x3 crop done. So you've always got options and always got the ability to change your crop. After taking the photograph, or if you wanted to, for example, if you wanted to play with different images and create a duplicate of this, you could, create a duplicate and then compare different crops. So it's great to have that ability to compare the crops and to choose different, look at different images, and the power of the ability to change a crop later on. So I hope you found that video useful today. It gives you a little bit of a small touch on how the crop tool works in Lightroom. And if you like that video, please don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to see you along to watch more of my videos. If you think there's anything I can do better, or if there's any tips that you have on using that tool, please leave a comment below. And you can support the channel by giving me a like on the video. And hopefully I will see you again next time.